parents, were you the last one through the?
What's that?
Oh,
She's got eyes.
would you open us with a word of prayer?
Yes, yes. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for another day. Thank you for allowing us to gather again this Sunday to study your word and let us all take in the knowledge and be encouraged. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah.
And be encouraged. Amen. Because that is what John the seer wants us to get from this book of his. And so often, it is not what people get from this book. So often people get scared, from this book, right?
Yes.
And so I had y'all read not only 6 and that snippet of 8, but also chapter 7. And I hope everybody had a chance to do that, because this is a great passage to illustrate that so often we appropriate this and are afraid of it when John's intent and his literary what should I say? His literary mechanics here are to encourage. And so I want us to start first by thinking about this passage, I will say, in popular imagination. And what in chapter 6 of the book of Revelation, I mean, you could say it to the proverbial man on the street, right? And they would know about what from this passage?
4 horsemen.
The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. They'd have no idea what it means, where it comes from, right? But they'd know, oh, it's the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. So I want us to look a little bit at the depiction of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse in popular imagination. Y'all give me a minute to get that up. And the home audience, I'm going to need y'all to help me again to make sure that y'all are seeing the right thing. Come on, PowerPoint. There you go. All right, let me get screen share going. Do-do-do. 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 Do-do. All right. Come on, computer, come on.
There she is.
And hold on. I'm screen sharing.
1, 2,
Come on,
3.
come on.
Let me see 3.
No, I don't want.
One in the front.
I don't want subtitles.
You don't want to.
The 2 in the back
The bottom.
are right next to each other on the.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the black horse is hiding.
All right, home audience, what do you see?
I
see.
see.
Go ahead.
I see a slide now.
Okay,
I'll
and
bring-
perfect,
I'll bring-
It's a black and white slide.
perfect. Well, you can see, and our folks here in the room are looking at it on the TV screen. This is from the German woodcut artist Albrecht Dürer. This is an illustration from his illustrated edition of the book of Revelation. So it was just the book of Revelation, and it was by far his best-selling book ever. And you can see this is of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Tell me about this. What do you see, and what's your impression of this, and what's your emotional response to this?
Focus,
Mm,
different focuses, different responses.
Tell me about those.
Well, one of the horses was supposed to take peace from the earth.
I don't care about what the text says.
Okay.
I want to know what that does for you,
Oh, well,
that picture.
I was trying to match the two. Well, people are, they're being scared, they're
Yep.
trampled. There's some people looking off and don't have focus on the people who are being trampled.
Yeah.
One of the horses looks like there's a devil. The
Yeah.
bottom one.
Yeah, which horse is that?
The bottom one.
So in the narrative, in chapter 6, which horse is that?
That's the second one.
The pale.
That's the pale horse, right? That's death, right?
The one on the bottom?
The one on the bottom, right? Because really pale horse isn't the best translation. It's really sickly horse.
I was gonna say, it looks like it's kind of starving.
Sickly, yeah.
And its
Um,
rider is only bony.
Yes. And you see that great gaping maw in the bottom left corner? That
Yeah.
big mouth and somebody's going into it? That's Hades. Oftentimes in medieval art, you're going to see hell depicted as this great mouth that gobbles people up and into which people will be shoved by demons at the end of time. Yeah,
Where's the mountain?
bottom left. You see there's a,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, yeah. And which rider is in the very back? The backmost of all 4 horses. You got death in the lower,
One in the middle?
well, the one in the middle,
Take me
right,
furthest back. that
yeah,
way,
furthest,
that way.
furthest back in the perspective of the picture.
It looks like.
Justice.
No, there is no justice horse, right? There's the one with scales, that's not justice. That's about the marketplace, about inflation prices. So then there's, so the bottom one, which is the foremost in our perspective, that's death with Hades following behind. And then the largest one, the sort of focal point, that's the one with the scales.
That's a
Where,
black.
yeah, and that's the one that, the prices in the market are going up for sustenance items, but not for luxury items, right? So, yeah, nothing ever changes, right? Right, so that's inflation.
Does he have the scales? I don't see.
Yeah, he does. It's in his right hand swinging to the back. It's kind of hard to make out. You can see,
That's not the kind of scale where you.
see the cups. It's
Yeah.
it's a
oh,
balance scale, right? They didn't have a gram
Yeah,
scale.
I
You
see
can
that. I
still
see it now.
see
Yeah.
it.
I missed the cups.
Yeah, the
Cups
cups are hard to see.
Are on the far left of our screen. And then behind that one is one with a sword, right? Takes peace from the earth, right? That's war. And then the one that's farthest away from us is the one with the bow. Right? That's the one with the bow. And then you see an angel up top, right?
I thought it was
So is there anything positive or encouraging here?
No.
No, not at all. This is by Russian artist Viktor Vaznetsov, 1887, Death, Famine, War, and Conquest. What do the facials of those riders do for you?
They're scary.
Yeah, they're scary, aren't they?
Everybody's intense.
Yeah, very intense. Even the skeleton is intense. And what's going on in the foreground, kind of at the bottom of the picture?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Here.
yeah, a lot of violence, right? A horse dying, some guy with a sword, somebody biting somebody kind of to the left. At the top, what do you see at the very, very tip top of the picture?
Rainbow.
The lamb.
Right, the rainbow and the lamb. Is that really enough to,
No.
yeah, no, doesn't,
That's encouraging.
no, not at all. Not at all, right? Gustave Doré. The French artist, 1865, Death on a Pale Horse, and you can see the demons following it behind. What does that do for you? Yeah, chill. It's chilling. It's creepy. It's really creepy. Yeah. This is from a DC graphic novel series that was eventually compiled. I meant to put the date on there. I think it was compiled in the late 80s. So it was after the fall of the Soviet Union. It was called Watchmen. And it presented an alternate history where instead of the USSR collapsing, it continues to exist, and the US and the USSR through the story lead up to and then finally enter into what in the story is World War III. Now, why do I link this to the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse?
Yeah, worse than.
Exactly, exactly.
What did he
There's,
say?
say that again,
I'm sorry, I could not hear. It sounded like Cedric. I couldn't hear what he said.
talk towards the microphone.
Oh, because there's a pale horse?
Thank
see-
you.
Yes, you see the placard in the lower left, Madison Square Garden, pale horse, sold out November 2nd. And there's another placard in the background, kind of near the bottom right of the picture. What does the color scheme here do for you? Blood, lot of blood. What time is it?
Midnight.
Midnight.
Close to me.
Midnight, yeah. Anything encouraging here?
Well,
Can't-
joy comes in the morning.
Yeah, pretty bleak. This is by William Blake.
I was wondering if
Yeah,
Mr. Blythe. could-
Yeah, of course. Death on a Pale Horse, circa 1800. What does this one do for you? Of course, that's Hades at the bottom, right? Following with him.
This one's a little more encouraging because it looks like there's an angel at the top, or some kind of representation of peace and redemption at the top.
Is it the sky being rolled up like a scroll?
Yeah. 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 Probably.
But the horse and the rider look so much healthier and
Where they do.
Right. Well, this is not the pale horse, right? Right. This is the one with the sword in his hand,
oh, okay.
right? Or, no, you're right. It is the pale horse. I'm sorry. It is the pale horse. You're right. It does look healthier. It doesn't look as, scrawny.
He does have the sword, but
It's kind of a mishmash, really, of multiple,
Yeah, because there's a
elements.
black
Right.
horse in there.
yeah, yeah. Does this feel upbeat, though? Does this?
no.
No, it's not as horrific, say, as that one.
Right.
Right, but it's pretty frightening.
Yeah.
All those eyes headed in one direction, very intense. Destruction is coming, that's very clear, right? This is by a graphic artist who goes by the moniker Deviant Ashtoreth. This was done in the 90s.
So why are they women?
Artist interpretation, right?
They're playing on Nietzsche, a famous artist who did women. And it's the same style, but different themes. So I assume he just copied the women.
We come and heal.
What does this do for you?
Totally wrong.
It softens the blow a
Death
little
with a-
bit
death
because they're
with a smile.
attractive ladies.
Yeah, death with a smile. Look at that. I mean, making death seductive.
Yeah.
That's creepy. Famine needs a chiropractor, that way she's all twisted around. What's the one that honestly looks a little heroic?
Pestilence.
War looks heroic.
Mhm.
Yeah, pestilence she doesn't look as bad. Notice she's got a gas mask in her right hand. I mean, morally, what do you think when you look at this?
It's a shot at women.
The end?
The end?
Uh-uh.
I find this disturbing. That these are presented as seductive women.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's all wrong.
It's disturbing because they are women. It's disturbing because it's almost idolizing these things.
Mhm.
Mm.
It's making them attractive.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the name though, Ashereth. Is that the same as the god with the poles, the Ashereth?
It's a twist on it. It's Asherah, but, or Ashtoth, depending on which
But
but she's playing on, I assume, we don't know who this person is, right? But I assume it's a play on that. Yeah, I would wonder if the perspective is that this is somehow feminist. I don't know.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. It's disturbing. Famine by Ryan Begley from a set of 4 in 2015.
It's like an hourglass.
Their horse?
Yeah, there's a horse.
Yeah.
There's a horse at the very middle in a little circle of.
Oh, I see,
Right,
a
yeah.
tiny little horse.
What's the new element here that's not in the biblical description that's sitting there on Famine's left arm?
A vulture.
Vulture, yeah. Yeah, I heard it. Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah, is there any
Where's the vulture?
on his left arm?
It's not an eagle. Look at its face and the hooked bill.
Yeah, that's a vulture. You see it now, Cedric?
Oh,
Sitting on his
Top right.
left
I was
arm.
looking at these hands down here.
Oh, yeah, no, it's on Famine's left arm. So first of all, Famine is a skeleton. Right?
Right.
That makes sense.
I just-
The one on the black horse or the pale horse, because they both.
So the pale horse is death.
Okay.
I just read an article and it was saying that the vultures have been dying in India and they actually do a job
Yes.
of getting rid of the diseases of the dead people, or like, they devour them so they aren't giving off their diseases to other people. And so thousands of people have died as a result of the vultures not
Right,
dying off.
right.
Well, why did they say?
But is that what this picture is about?
No, not at all. I just saw the vulture.
Just like the condors, yeah, they're important, scavengers are important.
Mhm.
What is the only depiction of life in this?
The horse looks pretty healthy.
Yeah? What else?
The wheat,
Yeah, there's a
that
little bit of
wheat?
wheat, there's a little bit of wheat, but there's not much wheat,
right.
right? You would expect there to be a field of
But it
wheat.
was famine, so
Right, so
there's
there's
a lot
just
of
a
wheat.
shaft. And what about the I'll call it the brocade around the picture?
The leaves.
The leaves, but do those look alive?
Yeah.
No.
Does the color scheme here say life?
No.
No, it's
Right,
It's
right.
just decoration to show you that it's supposed to be pretty, but not really.
yeah, and because it's not green, it reinforces this sense of food that isn't food. Right? There's nothing to eat here. There's nothing life-giving here. Right? And you may be able to see, there's sort of a mishmash here too. Can you see the scales that Famine is holding in his right hand?
Yeah.
So they took the image of the scales and here, I guess they're moving it to Famine's, that they're empty scales. There's nothing to put in them.
Hmm.
Anything encouraging here?
No.
He's got a head full of hair.
But yeah.
I didn't even notice the hair.
Benjamin West. Death on a Pale Horse, 1796. And you can see there's also the conquering horse, right, is off to the far right. But what he's focused on is death, which is just to the left of center.
Uh-huh.
What do you see here and what's your emotional response to this?
There's a lady in the foreground who apparently is dead or dying, and it looks like a dead child, perhaps beheaded, on her lap with another child clinging to her.
Yeah,
The head is still there.
yeah, the head's there.
Is it?
blessedly. Yeah, it is blessed. It's right at the edge of the picture, so it may, on your computer screen, may run off, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Demons in the sky
demons in the sky.
and the lion.
Yep, lion to the far left. And see the guy in the, just above the lion with his sword raised. Where's your, and Kathy, I agree, the focal point in terms of where your eye goes. Your eye is drawn to that dead woman.
It's where the light is at.
Exactly, and where that dead baby is. Is there anything more discouraging than dead babies?
No,
Right, no hope here. All right, a movie that I hope you will all take time to see during our study of Revelation, because it's a fabulous film. It is an iconic American film that is a sustained allusion to the book of Revelation. It's a distinctively American take on the apocalypse. It is not a biblically faithful presentation of what an apocalypse is, of what salvation looks like. It's a very violent film. You'll know it in an instant. It is Clint Eastwood's great masterpiece, Pale Rider.
It's a great movie. I
Fabulous.
related it to
Yeah,
Revelations, but it is really good.
it's a fabulous film. And if you read it in light of Revelation, it's an even better film. And this is the scene where is it Karen Snodgrass who plays is that her first name? Who plays the mother in the story, and her daughter played by Megan somebody. The daughter is reading from Revelation chapter 6. And she's actually reading, chapter 6, verse 8. Okay. And I apologize, there's no closed caption option here. Okay. This is a short scene. So tell me when you're ready and I'm going to turn it on. Okay. If anybody wants to read that verse, get it in their heads. She is reading it aloud. And this is when Clint Eastwood's character first appears. Okay, everybody ready?
Ready?
All right.
As DA.
Oh, and of course, we have to have an ad.
Commercial, yeah, you got
We have to have an ad,
Just skip it 1 second.
Yeah.
Recording one.
hopefully.
Well,
Yeah,
we
it
can
wouldn't let-
skip it.
Yeah, it won't let me skip them. For some reason, it will not, it did this last week too. Yeah, it won't, yeah, so, all it'll do is stop. So everybody just la, 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la.
We told the pale horse. And his name that sat on the steps. And hell followed with him.
I'm gonna see if it'll let me play it again without the ad.
it's okay, we can sing some more.
Actually, I'll back up a slide. Forward a slide.
As DA.
No, well, it's last. Okay.
Criminals from.
I- Oh, hush.
One drug dealing illegal.
Oh, hush.
As DA.
Ah, they don't even wanna let me.
Deportation.
So go watch that. Yeah,
So it's been a while since I saw that movie, but when he first came to town, he didn't start, I mean, he's an okay guy, like he's a
Yeah.
good guy.
Yeah.
When death does, appear, it's only as retaliation. Is that right?
well,
Or for his.
I don't wanna give away the movie.
Yeah, it seems like he's doing it for justice.
So the plot line as you see it unfold, right, he's Stranger Come to Town, right? There are only two movies. There's Boy Meets Girl, and there's Stranger Come to Town. That's it. Those are the only two movies. And this is Stranger Comes to Town. And at first he's simply the stranger who shows up in town. There are the evil property owners who are blocking off the water, and there are the poor miners who are suffering at their hands. There's a fabulous scene I was gonna show you, but it's too long, where you see the horseman imagery used because the wicked landowner sends in a bunch of cowboys to tear up the mining village, and you see the horses destruction there. But yes, then this, it's very mysterious. Why does this guy show up when he does? There's a lot of mystery to it. And there's even more mystery as you get to know the character. So let me ask you, based on what you saw, knowing that he's the hero of the story,
I've never.
because it's Clint Eastwood, right? So he's the hero of the story, right? Not giving anything away. How do you expect him to achieve victory?
Pillage.
Yes, violence. I mean, the music was creepy, right? He's this tall, straight guy, you know, you're sure there's a 6-shooter, you know, on either side, right? He is going to achieve justice for these people who are being oppressed through violence.
Minister, he used to be a minister in that one.
Well, he's the preacher.
Yeah,
Yeah, the preacher. And I don't think you ever know his name.
right, yeah, you never
Yeah,
know.
yeah. But you find out he's a preacher. Yeah. But let's not give away any more about the movie, right? Because I really do recommend it to you. It's an outstanding film, and reading it with an eye towards how is this related to the Book of Revelation, it becomes an even better film.
Who created that? And was that their purpose? To allude to?
Oh, there's no question. There's no question. Yes, it is a sustained allusion to the Book of Revelation.
But we don't know why whoever.
I'm sure somebody does. I just don't. Yeah. Yeah. Ask Clint Eastwood. Yeah.
Did you produce that one?
I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah. This is from Claremont Cathedral in France. 13th, 14th century. How do you feel about this?
It's lazy.
Oops, sorry. Yeah.
Colors, right?
Yeah, it's at least got nice colors.
Yeah.
Yeah. But where does your eye really end up?
Skeleton.
On the skeleton, yeah. Yeah. Thank goodness that's not in our stained glass windows, right?
Yeah.
It's not, in fact, you don't find the 4 horsemen. I had to hunt high and low to find the 4 horsemen in stained glass. You just don't want to put that in
I
stained
just
glass.
connected that to Arn and Ole Anderson and Ric Flair and. What else? The Four Horsemen.
Yeah, me too, man.
Uh-uh.
The wrestler.
Wrestlers.
Oh,
The Four
yeah.
Horsemen.
Oh, yeah.
I thought
I
that
didn't put it together to them.
Oh, got it. Got
Notre
it.
Dame had a big advertising thing with 4 horsemen, something about, I don't know. They're four football players.
Oh, yeah.
So the white horse, rider, he has a crown on.
Yes, he does. So finally, we're actually depicting,
What to say it.
yeah, what he's described as, right? And he's got his bow. Yeah,
And a crown.
yeah. Yeah.
As a
So,
conqueror.
and then one moment of whimsy. This came out during week 2 of the pandemic.
Okay.
It's really good, isn't it?
Okay, okay.
Just to lighten the mood a little bit here. What all of these depictions forget is, how does chapter 6 begin?
I saw the lamb.
I saw the lamb. And how does all of this end in chapter 8, verse 1?
The lamb opening the 7th seal.
Exactly. So all of this that we see here, the horsemen and the other seals, are bookended by the lamb. Now, remember, Jesus, right? Jesus is the Alpha and the
Omega.
Omega. You're gonna see this again and again in Revelation, where things are sandwiched within the activity of Jesus. Okay? So what's really important literarily? What goes on inside or the bookends?
The
The
book.
lamb start, yes, exactly. The lamb at the beginning and the lamb at the end. The popular depiction of the horseman never, ever, ever acknowledges Christ as what it's all really about here. This passage is not about the four horsemen of the apocalypse. It's about Christ, who is I am Alpha and Omega, beginning and the ending,
No
the
matter
enthroned
what.
Christ.
No matter what's going on.
Right, exactly. Because who's opening these seals?
Christ, the
Yeah,
Lamb.
right. Now,
He's the only one that can open. it.
exactly,
You know,
exactly. Now, and this is, by the way, this is by Mark Dukes. It's copyrighted from 2020. It's really lovely. It's an Orthodox icon.
Are those Greek symbols around his head?
Yes, and you'll see that if you go back and watch last week's lesson, whenever you see Christ depicted as the Pantocrator, the ruler of all, in an Orthodox icon or mosaic, I see Jesus Christos
mhm.
and then Christ coronated. Yeah, Christ coronated, and you'll see the sun and the moon, and you'll see the two fingers raised.
What's the Orthodox what now?
So like the Greek Orthodox, Russian Orthodox, if you see it see one of their icons the Pantocrator, that's Greek for the ruler of all.
Okay.
So anyone who is of Greek Orthodox, Lebanese Orthodox, Russian Orthodox, Coptic, Ethiopic Orthodox would recognize this is Christ depicted as the Pantocrator, the ruler of all, the sun and the moon and the stars and enthroned, the hands raised and the halo.
So what's the Orthodox icon?
Anyone's like a depiction of a saint?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
To the three red symbol, the symbol in the.
I don't know. I do not know.
Mary Elizabeth,
Yes.
as just a little sidebar, the Greek Orthodox festival is coming up. And if
Yep,
you
hold
haven't
on.
been to their sanctuary,
Hold on. That, yes, yes.
Thing that happened did happen.
Okay, y'all, we can't have side conversations.
Sorry.
So go ahead, Kathy.
okay, just as a little side, later in the month, I think, the Greek Orthodox Festival, it's really interesting. If you've never been to it, it's worth your time. But they give tours of their sanctuary, and the entire ceiling of the sanctuary is an icon of Christ.
Yes, and if
It's
you
very
watch,
similar.
if you watch last week's, we actually talked about that last week. We took a virtual tour of Ecclesia Theotokos, which is the Greek Orthodox Cathedral here in Atlanta. So go back and watch that. And yes, and we had a big ad for the Greek festival. And I will be actually volunteering making salads this Friday for the Greek Orthodox Festival. And I have it on good authority that everyone here is invited. So come for Greek food, Greek wine, Greek dancing, fun times. Now, let's see what the passage is really about. And I apologize, this took too long. As early as our earliest commentary, excellent commentary on the book of Revelation by this guy, obviously artist depiction of Phronitis of what is now Slovenia. He pointed out what our study guide points out, that first rider is who? Jesus. His interpretation was it was actually the gospel, right? But modern scholars point out this first rider is Jesus. And we know that because he wears a crown
Conqueror.
and he's a conqueror or an overcomer, right? That's the only character in Revelation who is described as one who conquers or one who overcomes. So yet again, this passage begins and ends with Jesus. Remember and keep in mind, 7 in the book of Revelation is never considered sequential. This is not about first this, next that, this, that. It's about totality. So a statement is being made about the totality of human history. It looks violent, right? It looks awful. Famine, death, war, pestilence. And then we have the souls of the martyrs who've been killed, right? This big buildup. Things seem to be getting worse and worse and worse and worse, right? So what do you expect of the 7th seal based on the buildup?
Even worse.
Exactly. You expect
Explosion.
smackdown nuclear mushroom cloud, right? Instead, what do we get in chapter 8, verse 1, when the 7th seal is opened?
Silence.
Silence. The appearance of things is that things are horrible. The appearance of things is violence out of control. The appearance of things is destruction. God bless you. And destruction.
There's a beginning and an end.
Exactly. And who is it that's in control of that?
Jesus.
Exactly. Exactly. This is the kind of reversal you're going to see again and again in the book of Revelation. We're even going to see one within this passage. Notice with that, with the seal. Oh, I'm on the wrong
It
page.
sums up John 16:33.
How so? What's 1633?
In this world, you'll have trouble.
Yeah,
Yeah, over-
absolutely.
So like.
Absolutely.
In the middle is the trouble.
Absolutely. Notice in chapter 5, we've got the 5th seal, right? And those are and the souls of the martyrs are calling out, how long? How long do we have to wait for justice? And they're told, just hold on. There's some more witnesses who are going to have to bear witness. And then there's the 6th seal. And there's this question in the face of the 6th seal, down in verse 16, about how horrible things are. Fall on us, talking about the mountains, right? And hide us from the face of him who is seated on the front throne. For the great day of wrath has come, and who can stand before it? So there's this question, who can stand before it? Well, then what's the answer according to chapter 7? What do we start to see in chapter 7? Do we see destruction? Do we see,
Oh, we see, well, once.
who do we see in chapter 7? Who?
The redeemed.
The redeemed.
Redeemed, yeah.
Chapter 7 is an answer to the question in verse 16. Who can stand? The redeemed. And notice the twist in here. John says, right, I heard the number of the sealed in verse 4 of chapter 7. And it's how many?
144,000.
144,000. And who are those 144,000?
The 12
Tribes of Israel.
The tribes of Israel. So it's a set number and it's a set ethnic group. But then he turns and looks in verse 9. And what does he see?
A great multitude that no one could count.
And Tricia?
There people from all nations and languages and.
Exactly. I'm going to end the screen share so y'all can see us here. Exactly. So notice the reversal. He hears an absolute number, limited ethnicity, but then he turns and sees a countless number from all the nations. We've seen this before. The Lion of the tribe of Judah is the one who has overcome. And then he turned and what did he see? What did he see? After he heard about the Lion of the tribe of Judah has overcome, I turned and I saw
The Lamb.
the Lamb standing as one who had been slain. Notice that makes no sense. So you've got reversals within reversals, surprises within surprises. Do you think John is trying to say something about the way life looks compared to the way life really is? It looks like the forces of evil are in control, but they're not. Jesus is the Alpha and the Omega. Jesus is the one who's in control of the scroll. Jesus is the one who opens the seals. And who is it that can and will stand in the face of this?
The multitude.
The multitudes, the church. Imagine you are one of those little congregations. You are either persecuted, or you've become apathetic, or you've become accommodating. That message speaks to all of you. Right?
Like Tabitha in the church of, what is it? Where she was.
Oh, I forget. Yeah. Right,
Yeah.
right. So you're gonna see this cycle again in the next chunk we're gonna read. The next unit in our study guide, right, covers chapter 7 of Revelation, but we've already read chapter 7. So what I want you to read for next week in the book of Revelation is chapter 8, verse 2 through chapter 11, verse 19. And I'll send that out.
Okay.
And notice too, and I meant to point this out, sorry, I'm sort of jumping here. Before we get to the 7th seal being open, at the end of chapter 7, what's happening?
Tribulation.
But they're talking about how things are going to be. There'll be no more hunger. They'll-
Right, right. And so,
They'll be
and
the
what are
water
they
of
doing?
life.
What is it that they are doing?
Right.
They're,
John was great. I thought they were doing
I shouldn't have-
laundry.
No, laundry.
what are they doing in verses 15? Yeah, they have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. That's a done deal.
Wow.
So therefore they are before the throne. What is all this?
They're
What is all-
worshiping.
Yes,
Yeah.
worship, prayer, and praise. That's what the confessing community is doing in the face of this. And remember, why is it that that everything's not ending when it's ending? Jesus tells him, right, that there've got to be more witnesses,
Hang in there.
right? And we're gonna see this from John as well. We're gonna see this, we're moving into the section of the 7 trumpets. And again, we're not thinking sequentially, chronologically. We're gonna be thinking totality. And he's just gonna show us the same thing again using the angels blowing the trumpets. All righty, I threw a lot at you. Go in peace to serve the Lord, who is the Alpha and the Omega.
144,000. Is, whether Jehovah's Witness got that number?
Yeah. They had to change it.
Who's to say much more?
I'm sorry, say that again,
Bye.
Ruth. Bye, y'all. Bye.
You just said that you